Listen up, please!
I'm glad you're here.
Mind orgasms and fantasies.
By the way, I want to say something that I absolutely love.
The back of my head may or may not look like a pug.
Somebody's misguided. The younger generation.
If you can wipe your own ass, then the other guy gets shot.
And I don't know that you notice it, but I do.
We found out who we truly are, which is a bunch of assholes.
Most of the time it's because I'm turned away from you.
Why did you buy the vibrating strap-on pillow?
But there's something that I absolutely love.
Oh, I couldn't be happier.
Now, there was a time when we had to hide and we had to be quiet.
Right now, he's wearing a tinfoil hat.
Have you ever heard the term misguided? I've been misguided.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Welcome to episode 49 of the Misguided Musings podcast. I am your host, Jordan. I have a full crew tonight, so I've got Sarge.
Hello!
Maynard. Matt.
I'm in jail!
And the long-awaited return
Regular
of
ass
the...
Jesse Miles, motherfuckers! No more clean cut. No more redneck Maynard from Cars sounding motherfucker. No more schizophrenic British son of a bitch. He Brexited his ass back.
I actually miss clean Jesse Miles. He was really, really easy to listen to.
I actually liked him a
He
little
had a
bit.
soothing voice.
I hope he gets hit by a car.
I love clean cut Jesse Miles. Me and the
I think clean Jesse Miles is my favorite.
Oh, dude, I can totally picture him. He's like, a little overweight, mustache. John Candy in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. That's how I predict he looks like.
Yeah,
unlike
yeah.
me,
But he's got a
clean
full-
cut Jesse Miles still grows the sides of his hair out rather than shaving it completely.
He has a number
All right.
of ties from Van Heusen.
You can follow us on Twitter at Musing Podcast. I am at Muse Knuckles. Sarge is at Bastard Prophet. Maynard is at Maynard with an H. Matt is at Neglected Taste. And Jesse is at The Jesse Miles.
And him wearing suspenders is just casual.
You can go to our website, misguidedmusings.com. That's where you can leave reviews on episodes or blog posts. Or if you can figure it out, Celeste, you can write a review on on Google Play or iTunes if you have it. I think there's like an option on Podcast Addict, but I don't really
Would it
know.
be great if we got a shout out from Celeste Pizza on Twitter? Celeste Pizza just
We should tag them.
Yeah,
We'll tag them.
That'd be awesome.
So with that being said, we have a really full show tonight, kind of like Jesse's butthole. So let's get rolling.
I had
would've
Mexican
been
last night. It is the
funnier-
last thing
No,
from full.
forget it.
It would have been
Oh.
funnier. What?
Oh. No, I was just, you said we had a really full show, and it made it sound like there was a full show in Jesse's butthole.
And I said kind of like Jesse's butthole, as it's really full.
Oh.
And then I explained I ate Mexican and it's empty. It's a whole poop joke thing. He missed it.
It was a stretcher. It was the thing he puts in there so that he can fit the giant horse
No, a
cock.
stretcher's what you put somebody on when they get hurt.
There's a thing, though, that goes in your beehole.
Like goth
It's
girls'
that makes it
earrings.
bigger.
It's
Like
it's
how
a
they
gauge.
gauge them.
Yeah, it's like
An
a gauge.
anal
Yes,
eye.
it's a
Gotcha.
gauge. Is
I
that what it is?
gotcha.
It's an anal gauge.
An
A
anal
ball bearing,
$25.99.
maybe? I don't know.
You know what?
$25.99.
It's called
Thank
Lexi
you,
Bell's
man.
best video.
All right.
That's further cheap.
What
boy.
happened?
Oh,
so,
God. No splinters.
somebody that we all follow on Twitter and follows the show, shared a GoFundMe account, and interestingly enough, it sparked this episode. So I'm just gonna go quickly over this GoFundMe account for a replacement window.
Just slide right in there like Bill Cosby.
They that is so.
I'm
a
so glad I
gentleman-
got a delayed
I
reaction.
hope our listeners are conscious.
a gentleman.
And alive.
Poor Jordan, he can never start a fucking segment. All right, go ahead.
I fucking hate you all. It's gonna be bad. Jesse, go back to doing whatever it is you're doing. I didn't miss
Oh,
you at
comedy.
all, bastard. So Liam recently took a girl that he met at Tinder out on a date. They had a lovely evening, and they repaired back to his house for a bottle of wine and a Scientology documentary. Now, I will say that he's British, so this is must be what Brits do, is they retire back to their places of residence.
Yeah, it's not
watch
Netflix and chill. It's like
wine and
educational
assign-
stuff.
Yeah, I don't know that I would want wine and assigned.
Like getting a handy to Thomas the Tank Engine.
I make cumsies in the Isle of Sodor.
Well, and they are all wearing Topham hats over there because none of them are circumcised. See what I did there?
They can dock.
Yeah.
That is very.
They can.
So about an hour into Lewis Throw and Chill, because this is educational. She repaired to the toilet, where she returned panicked with a look in her eye and told me that she had something to tell me. I went poo in your toilet, she told me, and it wouldn't flush.
Oh, God, I thought it was an abortion. All right, that's fine.
And it wouldn't flush. I don't know why I did this, but I panicked, reached into the toilet bowl, wrapped the poo in tissue paper, and threw it out the window. He was understandably concerned and told her that they would go outside to bag up the offending poo.
No, that's just end of story. Leave it.
I threw the poo.
They also agreed to pretend the whole thing never happened. Unfortunately,
You threw the shite outside the window. What the fuck are you doing?
she threw the
hit the
poo
queen.
out the window. But the trick to the story is that there's an exterior window that doesn't open, so the poo fell into it. What I imagine is like she played Plinko and she threw it and it bounced all the way down into the wall of his house.
That's actually called a Klondike surprise, I think.
And so it ended up in the Twilight Zone in between his wall. And so
It got stuck in the Northwest Passage.
they were going to break the window open and get the poo out. And instead, this former amateur gymnast climbed through the window in between the two, the double glazed window and the regular window, and used the tried and tested inside out bag as a glove technique to
I'd say she's a
pull
keeper.
the poo
Yeah.
out, which she did. They finally got her to pull the poo out. She passed it over the top and got stuck in the window, in between the two windows. So
God bless you.
eventually,
But is the GoFundMe to get her out?
hold on. So it's to teach her how to poo
We need
properly.
to hurry.
So they called the police after about 15 minutes of waiting, and the police showed up and broke the window anyway, which was his original idea. Long story short, the GoFundMe was to replace his window so his landlord wouldn't be pissed. The landlord, I guess, must have seen this. Regardless, it turns out that somebody offered to replace the window for free, and he's donating all the money they raised to charity. At this point in time, they've raised something like £2,482. Celeste, that must be like 3,500 Canadian and probably right around 3,000 American.
I think it's actually just a gallon of maple syrup. In Canada.
You know what? It's not a bad price tag for a date throwing a poo.
Jesse actually has a chart in his house on the wall.
It's called risk reward. You got to gauge it.
It's like a menu. He's like, if I want to have poo thrown at me, it will cost this many gallons of maple syrup.
But my net return will be
It's
from the GoFundMe.
Seven
It's 6
pancakes.
gallons of maple syrup and an apology, because we're talking Canadian currency.
Tyler, that
But
should be shite.
it's got to be a Canadian apology, which I believe is sorry.
Oh, right.
It's so
It's not
sincere.
sorry, it's
sorry,
sorry.
right?
I'm sorry about that.
Sorry. All right. So that being said, the idea that sparked this episode was a bad date, and here we are giving yet again bad dates. I guess we'll call this one Bad Dates 2. Not also 2, but like the number 2. We actually have the rare share of 3 listener stories, so we are gonna rip through this. And I'm just going to give it away first because I don't trust Maynard or Matt after last episode.
My story was 100% true.
I know. Those were
to a
great
point.
films. Great
To a
performances.
point.
Listen, it has nothing.
Great movies.
You know what? No, we're not going to get into this again.
let's just drive on.
So
Drive it on.
I'm going to jump into it first. You ever get stuck in a car with somebody and you both hate each other? So I had an ex-girlfriend who we decided to go for a car ride. And at this point, the relationship was over and neither of us wanted to really admit it. So we decided that it would be...
Who gets named after a pattern?
So we got into the car together and we drove about 100 miles.
Oh, that's a lot.
It was really, really uncomfortable because she would say things and then I would say snarky things back. The whole conversation.
You know, like when you're at the end of the relationship where you just both fucking
but
really
nobody
hate
wants
each
to
other,
admit
but
it, right?
you just
Yes.
won't say
You
it.
treat it like your first car where you hear a noise and you're like, oh, there's something definitely wrong and broken. I'm going to leave it alone for 6 months till it breaks down on the highway horribly.
I think you've telegraphed this story. So we are out.
You're just waiting for a car.
We're
crash.
out. We go through.
Oh no, I didn't even know that's where
We go through like this like kind of really nice, like beautiful little town, and like we're pretending that we actually still like each other enough so that people buy it when we're out in public. And then I go to get in my car, which my uncle gave me after he beat the shit out of it. It was a 96 Chevy Blazer. It was a 5-speed manual. And
I remember the day that car died.
Shut up, Matt. It makes me sad. Anyway, I go to turn the car on and back out, and all of the electrical died completely in the car. Like the car just stopped moving. And so I put it in neutral, and I go to start the car again, and nothing. The electric kept flashing on and off. And wouldn't you know it, I used AAA from about 100 and 30 miles out.
But Jordan, you don't drink.
So I used AAA from about 130 miles out.
Oh, AA. I'm sorry.
To
Forget
take
it.
me from Western Mass into Quincy. And I had to sit in between a tow truck driver and a woman who hated my guts. And I shared the same feelings for 150 miles. So the three of us sat on a bench seat, for a 4-hour ride through Boston from Western Mass. Yeah, it was not ideal. It was a lame story, I know, but yeah, I think I know people will feel for me because they know they've been in that relationship too, where like somebody says something and you just roll your eyes and go, God, I hope you choke and die. So.
I know we've got a packed show, but I did have a similar experience. There was this girl that I was absolutely head over heels for a while back before I met my wife.
And she made you feel like the woman?
After
she had sex with you and you carried her bags and then she never called you again?
No, I've had a few of those. So this one,
I was gonna say, was it Christmas time?
She and I... You fuckers. She and I met in a bar, and every single date we had was in a bar. So I'd only seen her in darkness, and we had a great relationship, great sex life. Just an amazing.
Did she have man names?
Just an amazing She was just so much fun and so cool. And anyway, so one day we decided to go to the Cape. It was the summertime, and she's like, let's go down to Chatham. And I was like, yeah, cool. That'll be a lot of fun.
She had a leg that Jesse made.
So we drive. Fuckers. So she comes and she picks me up, and we're happy to see each other. And I'm like, oh, okay. She's not a lagoon creature. Like, obviously, it wasn't just the nighttime dates. There's something here. And we're in the car and we're driving, and I look over and the sun's coming through the windshield, and it begins to glisten off of her very, very prominent sideburns. And I was like, this has to end. But unfortunately, we were in Quincy, Massachusetts, which is, a good 60 miles from fucking Chatham when I discovered this. So for the rest of the time, I'm trying to plot my exit strategy.
This also sounds like the plot of Shallow Hal, where, what's that guy who used to play Yes, where
Jason
he
Alexander?
sees the girl whose soldier toe is longer than the big toe, and he freaks out.
No. This girl's burly fucking sideburns. She had better sideburns than I did. I just
Rocking some
couldn't.
mutton chops.
Seriously,
Some
mutton
fucking Neil
chops.
Young
I was like,
chops.
how did I not feel this at any point in our relationship before? So
You're like, listen, I'm
anyway,
a big
it was
Motorhead
long,
fan.
awkward, long, awkward, terrible car ride.
Yeah, that's I would feel bad for you, but that you did that to yourself.
I once had sex with a girl so fat I said I didn't have a phone. Everyone has a phone.
It just got stuck in her rolls. Anyway, she rolled over on the phone and then it was gone.
I feel like that was mean.
I'm fat. It's okay. We can smell our own. So I'm gonna go ahead and break
bacon.
this fun show up. Matt, you have a bad date, so let's hear it.
Well, I think I've exhausted my bad dates and bad sexual experiences, so this one has to do with, former friend of mine back about 10 years ago. He told me
I really thought Matt was just going to be like, so this is just a story about me going to Walmart.
I
was
hope
this
it's a
guy
bad
and he greeted
masturbation
me.
story.
Plenty of
So
those.
I didn't realize I had salt on my hands.
So let's say this guy, we'll say his name's Dean, and I was doing a street team event with two people, and they were quite friendly together, and I was friendly with one of them. The girl was like very cute, like gorgeous, and
Sounds like
usually
Matt sucking
like
on a hard
if
candy
we'd done
while
an
he's
event.
talking.
So basically what happened was we're on the event, and if things were really awkward, like they barely said anything, so it was kind of like when you have two people, obviously something happened between them and not much has been said, and you're trying to jazz things up and try to make conversation, but it's just not happening because there's either this distrust or this animosity towards them.
Or bad anal.
Well, we'll get to that. So.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
So the event finished, and she was like, "Oh, usually what would happen is we would drive back to the studio, drop our things off. Occasionally, if somebody had met up with us or whatever, would say, hey, I'm just gonna go take the tea, or hey, I'm meeting up with friends. Is it okay if you guys go back to the studio?" So, she said she was gonna go away. So we're driving, and I said to Dean, I'm like, hey, that was like really awkward. Like I could sense some hostility between you two. And he was like, well, here's the thing, Matt. We've been kind of hooking up, me and we'll say her name is Veronica. And, if things were good, I think she's stunning. I like her personality. Like I was kind of hoping for something more out of it.
You don't
but,
hear the word
she's
stunning
just,
all that often.
Oh, no. Wait till you see these pictures I'm going to send to you. So anyway.
This poor young woman.
So, and I was like, well, what happened? And he said, he says, one night, we were hooking up, and, she had told me that one of the reasons why she didn't want to get in a relationship was because she liked both, men and women. She was bisexual.
Fuck.
And he was like, I kind of just
got the picture. Holy shit.
Yeah. Let me just tell you a story.
No. Just keep with the original story.
You are telling us a story about her.
Okay, another story.
You're currently telling us a story about her.
She went out on a date with a couple of members from Buck Cherry. Now, needless to say, horrible
Holy
butt rock
shit.
band.
Oh,
But,
gross.
yeah.
Ew.
This happened
So she's
after
basic.
this. So this kind
So
of... this might have changed.
So how is
things
she dealing with her hepatitis treatment?
Well, apparently she lives in Arizona, and she's a wicked big Christian now. So I assume it's...
Mistakes were made.
Yeah. So he had mentioned, that's one of my fantasies. And she says, hey, listen, I want dick. I go have dick. And I want pussy. I go have pussy. So that's not happening. And he was like, okay. So he was like, all right, you never know. So I guess one night they were out and they were drinking very heavily. and they went back to her apartment, and she had a couple of roommates. I think she was in Northeastern at the time, so it was down in near the Fenway area. And this particular night, he was like, it's almost like it's hard for me to explain because he was like, I was kind of somewhat at the stage of blacking out. He's like, we had shots of like Jägermeister. Because she was really hot, she was getting us all sorts of free drinks all night long from these guys. And then we crashed in on the Red Sox. It was after a Red Sox game, so we met up with some of the Red Sox players. So he said it was just like an insane night. So we get back to her apartment, and a couple of roommates were there, but, not really paying attention. Get in the room, and she says, I got a surprise for you. And she brought out one of her roommates. So he's like, at this point, we just went at it. He says, I remember just slightly a few things, but for the most part, it was just, I was in the threesome. This is amazing. So he's like, I woke up the next morning and I had the worst fucking hangover. Like, that hangover when you have Jägermeister? It's just like the absolute worst. It's like pounding headache.
I call that hangover heartburn.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that pounding headache, that like horrible feeling in your gut, and you're in a prison cell because you had sex with a horse. It's fucking crazy.
So
The anal pain.
The anal pain, it's so bad.
So he got up and he was like, oh, my lower back kind of hurts. So he went towards the bathroom, and he went into the bathroom. And he just sat down for a pee. And he gets up and he looks at the toilet bowl, and it looked like strawberry cream everywhere. He was like, what the fuck? It was coming from his ass. So he was like, what the fuck happened? Like, in his mind, he was like, what did I participate in? So
I like that he used the word
cleaned up. And he gets up and he looks at the bed, and the roommate wasn't there. So then he starts walking, and there was no one there in the apartment but them both. And he gets into one of the rooms, and this happened to be the roommate who kind of, reminiscent of the girl he, had the threesome with. And he looks at the girl, and he noticed an Adam's apple. It was a transgender roommate. And I'm like, listen, I'm not saying, this was necessarily like a bad day or whatever, but this was 2008. And for some guys, this is something that they wouldn't participate in, and, he made it clear. He was like, listen, I'm not homophobic or whatever, but like, like it really shook me up, so
literally.
So
listen,
he woke her up and he was like, what the fuck?
I would never do anything like that unless it was Bailey J.
So he woke her up and he was like, what the fuck did you? And she was like, what? And he was like, your roommate and whatever. And she says, I told you when I have sex, I'm either hunting for cock or I'm hunting for pussy. And you knew that. And he was like, I didn't know that, you meant that literally. I thought maybe for once, we had a few drinks. And she was like, hey, you were having a good time. You were what?
That's on him.
Yeah.
And then he gave her the keys to the chocolate dungeon.
Absolutely. And so he's telling me all this, and I was just like, okay, that's fun all and dandy, but did you really have to let her do your back door, for the back door? And he was like, listen, man, I didn't know. And I'm like, obviously you were played with, like this was set up. So
when you black out, you don't back out.
Absolutely. And so that's my story. A friend of mine, Dean, from the street team, he told me that story. I haven't talked to him in 5-6 years. He moved to like California. So I don't know.
Apparently
if he
he's in Arizona
whatever,
and a born again Christian too.
Good God.
Yeah.
I have the weirdest boner right now.
Yeah,
I can
isn't
explain
that
it.
girl like smashing?
I gotta follow this up.
I'm sure
All
you
right,
could,
so,
Jesse. I'm sure you could.
A good friend of mine and I share a mutual connection through work, and no.
Was it a misconnection?
So we're talking about this guy one night, and for some reason he always gets like these most beautiful women, and he's such a douchebag, and we can't figure out why it happens. Right, exactly.
Life.
Like, this is the type of guy, like, he wears fucking Ed Hardy jeans, like the bedazzled, and you're like what do women see in that? It's they're jeans. But anyway.
Themselves.
He's walking chlamydia.
They can share clothes.
He grows his eyebrows.
This kid, he falls in love with this girl. She's I want to say she's just out of med school. She's like a young doctor. Absolutely beautiful, and they really hit it off. So the first few dates, they go out, and she decided she told him right off the bat, I don't want to have sex. I want to wait. And he's like, okay, he's like, I'll wait with you. He really liked this girl, and that's not like him. Usually it's like he's the Mr. One Night Stand. Yeah, absolutely.
Fuck him and chuck him. He's a fuck him and chuck him. Yeah, got it.
We know he really likes this girl, and we were talking about this whole situation. So she's got a beautiful townhouse in Boston. Her father's a doctor. Her mother's a doctor. Now she became a doctor. So they go out on quite a few more dates. They've been dating for like 8 months. And realistically, the only thing that's ever happened between the two of them is that she's given him blowjobs. So he's really not complained, but he gets to the point where he's like, listen, he goes, we've been together now like 8 months. We've been like kind of really serious for the last 6. It's like, I have to be honest. We need to have sex, or I don't know that I can be here. I need to know that we have that connection. And I think, that's just that pickup line to get laid. So, she's like, okay. She goes, I'm ready. And so they're making out on the couch. They, they're like, hands are all over each other. And she starts to cry. And the first thing that goes through his mind is, Jesus Christ, like, was she raped? Like, what is this? Like, what is going on? And so he asks her, and she says, I don't want you to freak out, but I have herpes. And he pauses for a minute, and he's like, okay, what? And she's like, yeah, I've got herpes. And she's like, this has really been weighing on me. This is why we haven't had sex yet. I really wanted to make sure that, I knew I could trust you, blah, blah, blah. Goes through the whole thing. And he's like, I don't want to have sex now. And she goes, well, don't worry about it. It's not acting up. You can't catch it unless it's acting up. Like, it's really common for people to have herpes, blah, blah, blah. She goes, call my father and ask him. He's a doctor. And he goes, you want me to call your father and ask him if I can have sex with his daughter because she has herpes? And so he goes, I need to think. He goes outside and he calls my friend.
Support a family.
So he calls our.
This guy sounds like kind of a douchebag.
Friend. Listen, she was hiding a secret like that for 8 months, like kind of right, but she
didn't have sex
tell
with
him
him
either, which is
So,
but she didn't put her.
She didn't put him at any risk of getting herpes.
So
he's kind of a shitbag if he's just like, oh, we've been together 8 months, so now I'm not going to be with you.
Dating, so son. Fucking learn.
He leaves the apartment.
That's fucking
gets on the phone,
bullshit.
he's like, he's talking to my friend, and he's like, you're not going to believe what happens. He goes through the whole story, and my buddy goes, so are you going to go have sex with her? And he goes, no, I'm waiting for the cab to come so I can leave. And they never talked again, which was really sad. But
what a piece of shit.
Yeah,
that guy's a scumbag.
I can't blame him for not wanting to.
Well, no. You can get. So the thing is with herpes, you can get herpes even if you wear a condom. But the thing is, though, like, you don't get it if it's not flaring up. You can only get it if it's flaring up. Herpes is like the most common fucking skin disorder in the history of the world.
It's 1 in 5 people.
One in 5 people has it, and most people have it on their mouth, and it can actually be transferred from your mouth to the genitals.
That's why they say,
Well, I mean, he sounds like a piece of shit to me.
I told you in the very beginning he's a douchebag. He wears that Hardy jeans, like,
I know, but like that's super fucked up. Like he builds this relationship with this girl. He really likes this girl. She tells him something like that. Like, I get it. The first night, maybe you want to be a little hesitant and be like, okay, you know what? I need to think this out. But to just like fucking ghost like that, what a piece of shit.
All right.
Fuck that guy.
I know she's self-conscious and cries about it.
Yeah, and he's like, well, I'm going to get in my car and drive away.
My bros are going to think this is cool.
Oh, what am I going to tell my buddies?
He was very open about telling his buddies why he didn't do it. It's because she had herpes.
Yeah, it sounds
That's
like
that
he sounds like
usual
a
alpha
huge
guy who's
piece
just
of
trying to
shit.
get his
Yeah.
buddies to blow him.
God forbid you have some fucking compassion for a woman who got a disease that she obviously wasn't asking for. You're like, I can't wait to get herpes.
I told you he was a douchebag.
Fuck
I don't
that
know what
guy.
else. I gave you the heads up. Anyway,
This is why I just throw bags of herpes in grocery stores. You know,
You
really
should.
puts an end to the
We'll
stigma.
give it to
Jesse, you've got
everybody.
a story.
Give
Go
it to
ahead.
everyone.
Oh yeah. I had a hard time dealing with that. There are a few bad dates, more like bad instances. Like one time I was in the middle of having sex with a girl who I happened to have tied the hands of, and then I got diarrhea and had to go to the bathroom, which unfortunately was in the same room because I had a bathroom in my bedroom. So literally from 3 feet away, she's tied up face down and hears, I'm sorry, from beyond the muffled door. That happened one time.
Oh my god.
But that wasn't a date. That was just something that happened with a girlfriend. Don't leave a girl tied in a Gap sweatshirt while you evacuate your bowels 3 feet away from her.
You should have just coughed
my
a bunch of
God.
times. The cough to hide the noise.
Oh, there was no hiding it. You know when it's an emergency? No, it wasn't like I was going to have sex with her. I was inside her when, oh no, plopped out, ran into the bathroom that was right fucking there. Listen, we all have different lives.
God.
You had to go make some toilet wine.
I apologize when I put some of those Rainbow Girls through.
Oh my god.
Oh boy.
Oh,
Story
Jesus.
you want to share with everybody?
No, that's not the story.
No, he's gonna tell his
Example of a
story.
short story.
Story.
All right, we're gonna move on. You save that for Bad Dates 3. So, I was dating this girl, and things were getting pretty hot and heavy, and we were both kind of broke at the time, and so we decided to Netflix and chill before Netflix was a thing. So it was like watch basic cable and chill.
Blockbuster.
So we both got pretty drunk watching, I don't know, some fucking I don't even remember, it was like Family Guy or something.
TBS.
And we both like to get a little rough in bed, so we decide to go into the bedroom and scratching and biting, that's all good stuff. And so I take off my shirt, and as soon as my shirt comes off, she fucking punches me right in the fucking face.
Oh.
And I'm like, what the fuck just happened? And she's like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hit you so hard. And she's like super, super drunk. And so I'm like holding my jaw, like my head's ringing. I just got cocked in the face, but I was still like, I still kind of want to have sex though. Like,
You owe me.
I'm still into it. Let's do this. Yeah. So one thing leads to another, and she starts to go down on me, and I'm like, oh man, this is great. This is perfect. So things are going, and it feels really good, and then it starts to feel a little, that's what I'm looking for, juicier than I was expecting. And so I look down.
Juicy
And
than I was
she
expecting is never good.
she has thrown up all over my penis. There is vomit and a little bit of Chinese food.
Did you finish? But did you finish?
Man, you rally, use that shit as lube.
So it's kind of like
Just go.
so I'm kind of like, I'm having this existential crisis. I'm like, I really want to have sex, but now the room smells like puke because she just threw up on my dick. So, needless to say, we didn't have sex that night. I brought her into the bathroom and kind of held her hair back while she continued to vomit.
You're a good friend.
Correction. You held her hair with one hand while you used paper towels in the other.
Long story short, I'm a little gun shy when it comes to the drunken Netflix and chill these days. It's kind of a no blow zone.
Oh boy.
After too many drinks,
Well,
that
just scarred
leaves-
for life.
It's like a fucked up version of that Alanis Morissette song. Because I got one hand in my friend's hair and the other one's cleaning a soggy doorknob.
That leads us to our first listener story of the evening. we had a friend reach out to me and tell me this story. This is the same friend who had the creepy guy at her work.
She has the worst fucking luck
so the
with
creepy
men.
guy at her work, the fat baseball player who ruined her Bruins rally towel. And then this guy.
That poor towel.
So, long story short about this
Oh my God.
lovely young lady, she lost her 2 front teeth when she was a kid playing hockey. And so she... So,
Is she single?
No, she's single.
I'm gonna go ahead and tell you all now, post that comment, how uncomfortable she is about that whole topic with her teeth. So thanks.
Well, you fucking told us,
I
man.
mean,
What did you expect? You're not gonna not make a joke about not having your front teeth.
All I want for Christmas is for people to stop singing that song to me.
So she's very self-conscious about her front teeth missing. She actually had new ones put in.
Why?
Permanent. Really, you're gonna be like this right now. You guys are terrible.
You're the one who has a friend who fucking bailed on the girl with herpes.
No sincerity. Thanks for the submission.
She,
but you listen to the show.
You should know this.
She
is
had
gonna
permanent
happen.
replacements put in, and she was afraid to kiss anybody with them because she didn't know what it would feel like. So she reached right down into the friend zone and pulled somebody out to stop by her house and so she could practice.
Wow.
Why are all your friends the cruelest people on earth?
Well, I mean, this is somebody that she knew she wouldn't be attached to.
Because he's a libertarian.
Hey, I'm not a Republican. Get over it. I understand that. And Republicans
I said
are
libertarian.
usually the ones, I mean, look what they're doing now. You know? No, I don't really.
I was just trying to upset you. I'm happy.
So, she calls it the deadly trifecta, but she had no food, heat stroke, and then started drinking.
Oh, God. That's a hell of a combo.
How did she get to number 3?
How do you know all these terrible people? Do they all hang out in the same place?
The guy comes over. They're talking for a little bit. He knows what the story is. She's made it very abundantly clear to him that this is just kind of a quick little hookup, nothing more, nothing less.
But in his head, he's like, things are looking up for old Gil.
And so...
No, they're not.
He had texted her, and they set up time. He's there. They're about to kiss.
Oh, he was
was.
there promptly on.
Yeah.
He was
hard as a fucking rock.
She
I
literally
showed
said,
up early, because who knows?
She literally
probably
said he
opened
was
the
at my
door with
place
his
in 5
penis.
minutes flat. So they're sitting on the couch. He looks in to go and kiss her, and the next thing that happens is she pukes all over his lap. All over him, all over his lap.
I want the story to continue. Let's see
Same,
how badly
buddy.
he wants out this
Same.
friend zone.
Well, Jesse, you get your wish. So there was, the way she looked at it was like there was zero loss on her end because this was just a way to get comfortable kissing again. And then...
Because she's a terrible human being.
Well, no, I don't say she's terrible. I think it's because, she explained to him this was his own fault. You're in the friend zone and you get pulled out of the friend zone. He had the potential to say no to this. Regardless.
Yeah. No, that's exactly what every pitcher who gets pulled up from Double-A thinks. He's like, oh man, I've made it to the majors. I'm just going to go right back.
So she apologized.
No, he's like, I'm going to give her my best fucking game ever. I'm going to throw a no-hitter with the kiss.
Sarge.
And then we're going to be married. That's what he was thinking.
It's understandable. It's a little bit emotionally manipulative. Yeah, that's my type. I'm on her side.
Well, we all know you're a sociopath.
So she apologized, 100% my bad. I puked on you, whatever. And then he gets the text, and then she gets the text. Hey, how you feeling? And turns out, booze isn't a great combo with heat stroke, so, not so good for me. I'm sorry, I didn't want to leave you
in the hospital
like that. I felt bad for you.
I left you a little present in your beehole.
So basically, the whole conversation goes back and forth, and he's, I really wanted to be there for you, yada yada yada, and then they stopped talking for a little bit, and then she got a message, and it's not to be creepy, but
Never
It's the
followed by
creepiest
anything
thing.
but
It's
the-
either going to be like the creepiest thing he'll ever say or a picture of his dick.
It's the
He
same.
made,
rule
he
that
made
I'm
some
not
cheesy
racist,
comment,
but-
and he's still now back in the friend zone. But that's what happens when you try and
Of
climb out of the
course.
friend zone. You just fall back harder.
Yeah,
Just buy a
get a-
fedora and take a nap.
Get like a
Like-
big vape rig. Go to a Magic the Gathering tournament. It's over, man. It's over.
Oh boy.
It's fine. Someone will lend you your wrist guards.
His gauntlets.
Oh boy, yeah. So that was I really,
I know you have carpal tunnel. You don't have to tell
basically,
me. I can
he
see
basically
the
was like,
fucking
I want to
gear."
be there and hold your hair back for you while you puke. So
Oh my god.
Yeah.
What a sad fuck. Okay, I know now I don't judge your friend nearly as much as this fucking loser who's like you threw
Well,
up
see, I
in
told
my,
you she was
in
in
my
the right.
pants.
This
I know we're
week-
never gonna have sex, but let's make out anyway.
yeah, no, he was not such a winner there. But
All your friends are awful.
I wouldn't say she's awful. I would say she's interesting. she's providing content to the show, so fuck you.
Like, I'm not a big supporter of the whole like douchey alpha male outward thing, but I'm also a huge not fan of the super beta person. It's like, oh, if Darwinism existed, you would have died 4 years
This
ago.
is the kind of guy who'll marry like a super hot girl and put up with her having sex with other men just to say he's married to her.
Yeah, that's that guy. Sad.
Like Donald Trump.
All right, well, I think we're gonna take a.
And I'm the guy that has sex with the wife and is like, ah,
Your penis is
you're
so small.
sad.
Look at mine.
I gotta be honest. If I
Your
ever
fuel-
saw
your tears
Donald
fuel
Trump
this.
in person and I was able to shake his hand, I'd be like, "Man, your wife's tits are awesome," and that would just be the end of the conversation for me.
I would absolutely shake his hand, but I would do the like weird thing where you take your middle finger and go in the
I would
middle of their
I would
palm.
love to shake his hand.
I
but
want to pull
only
out a
after
tape measure
wiping.
and actually measure his tie. I want to be like, how long is this tie?
What movie was it where the guy like wipes his ass with his hand and then shakes?
Mallrats.
Ah, that's right. Where he eats the.
hold on.
Ah.
Maynard, what did you think it was?
I thought it was Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, wasn't it?
Well, you know what? He didn't say Geely, so I'm going to give him partial credit.
All right, we are going to take.
I thought he
quick
was going to say
break,
Chasing Amy.
and when we come back, we will finish up with other people's bad dates.
You may not be sleeping, or you may not be dreaming, but you're listening to Misguided Musings on the Misguided Network. Check us out at www.misguidedmusings.com. And also, you're having a wet dream, so make sure you rent that inflatable mattress from Rent-A-Center. It's perfect for your Tinder date water sports adventure.
Oh my god, we lost so much good stuff just now.
I said Warsaw, Poland.
I mean, that is kind of a... Because we were talking about 1938.
Oh. Well, it was a bad date.
That
It
just
literally
forgot
was
history
bad
for a minute.
date.
Welcome back to the episode, everybody.
Oh my fucking god.
We
Maybe one of the worst dates in history.
this second segment's been a real bitch to record, so I'm just gonna power through it while they're laughing like idiots in the background. As you can remember from the first segment, we started out with Bad Dates 2. This is the second volume of our Bad Dates series, and we're gonna lead it off in the second segment with Maynard. So please, Maynard, can you just
Jesus
can you
Christ.
just take over, please, Maynard? Just
Well, I don't remember the exact
August
date
3rd,
this happened.
1492, when Native Americans
was
became
bad.
alcoholics.
What happens is bad. So I went to a party, and this was on Valentine's Day. A friend of mine used to have a party every Valentine's Day. It was sort of like an anti-Valentine's Day thing, and he'd just have a bunch of his buddies over, and we'd drink and do something stupid, and not celebrate Valentine's Day. So what the theme for this one was kind of like a Yankee swap, but everybody had to bring a gift that they got at an adult store.
Or come.
Well,
So it was
that's
a
later.
Yankee
no,
cum
that's,
swap.
No, that's later. That's later. So there were a bunch of people there I didn't know, and everybody shows up and they all have their gifts. So everybody does the party thing, and then we get to the part of the party where everybody decides, do the Yankee swaps, but it's a porn swap.
The Yankee cum swap.
It gets
It sounds
around
like a
to my
circle jerk.
turn, and I pick from the pile, and I get a DVD entitled 1,000 Pounds of Cock, which was basically
too
two
much.
500-pound women eating cock.
1,000 pounds. Wow.
Yeah. Needless to say, I didn't really want
Kinky
that.
construction worker.
I
would
feel
find
like it
that
was
hot.
very sticky.
Could you fit that much in one room? Seems like a lot.
That's just the name of the DVD. I only had it for a second before I kind of looked around the room at what everybody else had. There was this dude, and he was there with his girlfriend, and
Maynard took the girlfriend.
no, but I did take his previous swap because I wanted nothing to do with that DVD, and he had what was this was a while ago, but it was probably the equivalent to like a fleshlight. So basically, like a self-love tool. So I'm like, well, shit, I'm not gonna watch this. I mean, I could at least use this thing. So I swapped with him, and he was visibly unhappy. So the little swap ended. Everybody ended up, but that's the final prize I ended up with, and everybody just kind of went back to drinking and doing whatever you do to party, So it gets to be the end of the night, and I'm leaving, and I go over to wherever I'd put my prize to pick it up, and the prize is gone.
Oh no.
Yeah, somebody stole my pocket pussy or whatever the hell it was called. I mean, you gotta be shitting me. Who the hell steals a fleshlight or whatever the hell it was called?
I'm sorry about that.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, so we're all just like, oh, whatever. So I'm
You think
I'm
that's
leaving the
considered a
party.
prosthetic?
What?
Like a pocket
Is it a
pussy.
prosthetic?
Is it considered? Jesse, you'd know. Is it considered a prosthetic?
I can't think of a reason why it wouldn't be. It's just not in there. Fun fact, you can fill it with sponges and use it to clean your utensils in the kitchen.
You could stick your knives and your forks in
That's
there.
being
and
very
It's got a
clean
good
them
grip
all.
to it.
It's very S&M-y.
Yeah, so whatever. So now I'm leaving this party, and it's late. I'm leaving without my gift, and I'm walking out this guy's front gate and down this sidewalk, and I see the box on the ground.
Oh no.
And
You stole your girlfriend.
The contents are not in it. I'm like, oh, okay, so somebody really did take this. I'm not making things up. And I'm walking further down the sidewalk. This is kind of a busy street. There's a lot of cars, but it's really dark. And I look over and there's a car, and I see this guy's girlfriend, the guy that I was talking about earlier that I swapped the present with. And she's just kind of in the driver's seat with her head just kind of down on the steering wheel like she's half sleeping. And I'm like, what the fuck is she doing? As I get up to the car, I see the guy in the back seat going to town on himself with the goddamn pocket pussy.
Oh my fucking god.
And
Why was she in the car?
It's like in school when someone would lick your muffin, so like they had to have it now.
She must
Like,
not have
my
wanted
turn.
anything to do with She didn't want anything to do with him that night, apparently, or he was too drunk, and he was just like, you know what, I'm using this thing right now.
She probably didn't
stole it
want
fair and
anything to do with
square.
them after that. Hey babe, I
Oh
stole a
my
pocket
God.
pussy. Watch me use it.
So she looks up and sees me walking by and just starts the car and starts to go. And I can look in the, and he obviously knows what's up and just like kind of covering himself, and they just sped off. And that's pretty much the end of the story.
I didn't think anyone could have worse friends than Jordan, but you have taken the cake.
Well, these were not my friends, to be clear. These were my friends' friends.
Okay, there were
Yeah.
This was not
acquaintances.
somebody I knew.
They were
I did not know who
associates.
they were.
Listen, there's nothing wrong with my
colleagues.
friends. You all are here right now, and so
It was a party. There were
Oh
there was
my
a,
God,
there was
that
a
is-
vast amount of people there that didn't know each other.
Now
But
that
yeah,
you talk about how bad my friends are, and I listen to the five of us talk on a regular basis, I get it.
We're bad.
I
We're
get
bad
it. We're
people.
terrible. We are awful.
I mean, we're all right.
We have our moments.
I mean, you did stick up for the herpes girl, so I mean,
That's
at least
true.
you got that going for you. Yeah, the guy's such a fucking douchebag. Who
He is
wears
such a
Ed Hardy?
douchebag.
I've never met somebody who wears Ed Hardy that I liked. Celeste, you don't.
I don't
wear
know
Ed
anyone.
Hardy, I hope.
No, she better not.
No, if she wears Ed Hardy, I'd be very upset. Maybe they don't know who Ed Hardy is.
What
Sorry.
if Ed Hardy wears it?
I wonder if they have like a Canadian Ed Hardy, but his name's just like.
It's just it's bedazzled Mountie hats.
All right, we should probably get to the listener stories before things get sideways.
I like your horse, eh? Sorry for crossing in front of you here.
All right. So this first listener story is from a good friend. He goes by the name at Lyric Intent. So it's at lyric_intent. Let's get right on it.
That's what she said.
So, scene: a college campus, Western Alabama. Our hero, a 21-ish version of me, tall, handsome, devastatingly stupid. Our scenario: our hero has been in pursuit of a specific young lady for friendship and companionship. She had proven to be elusive for a variety of reasons, mostly related to conflicting schedules. We both found ourselves at a party one Saturday night. We met over the Hunch Punch. I think it's like Jungle Juice up here.
Gotta be.
We just pour a bunch of shit in a trash barrel and then make it happen.
Yep.
The scent of frozen fruit and Everclear filling the air. We danced a little and talked, and after several quarts of punch, oh god.
Oh, why is he talking like a neckbeard?
What?
A
No, he
neckbeard.
drank a lot of this punch is what happened.
Never a good idea.
We decided to retire to her place after discussing the totalitarian themes implied by Lord of the Rings. We decided to call it a night. Well, in the middle of the night, the vast quantity of punch I had consumed caught up with me. So, feeling a little queasy, I got up, slid open the door in the bathroom, and may have been a teensy bit sick. I succumbed again to the siren song of Sweet Blackness. What the fuck? I woke early the next morning and repaired to my own bed. I felt like hammered shit. I spent Sunday recuperating, planning to check with my girl, but instead blacked out early and barely waking for my early Monday class. I'm crossing campus on foot, walking on sunshine, and probably singing a Chumbawamba. This was in the 90s, I guess. So I see Marion, the love of my life. I see her roommate, and she disconcertingly immediately bursts into laughter. This was worrying. I made a beeline for her, inquiring after Marion. Her roommate recounted a coarse retelling of the evening and then asked me if I was feeling better. Not sure what to make of that inquiry. I said I had been a little hungover, but that was great, and I was expecting at that point Marion was upset that I hadn't called her. A roommate asked if I had gotten sick while I was there, and I admitted that I... Oh, no. I had... Why does it always come back to this? I was worrying that I had been too noisy, and I woke them. Then her roommate asked me about the door to the bathroom. She was laughing. She pointed out that the bathroom doors didn't slide open. As it turned out, I had opened her closet, stepped in, and performed the Mount Vesuvius all over everything.
No.
And that's how love dies.
End scene.
Oh my fucking god. Ouch. I didn't know where it was going, but it got good. It got real good.
Oh no.
All right, we got one more story and then we're done. This is from at JCT Right Stuff. JCT Right Stuff. She's a good friend of mine. We bonded over the New England Patriots winning the Super Bowl. Greatest comeback in history. I was in college
So
and had
modest.
just started seeing this guy. Totally into him. Things were going well. We laughed. We talked.
Usually
Our
it's the
parts
guys
went
that get into the girls.
Well, you just telegraphed the joke.
It's 2017.
Things were going well. We laughed. We talked. Our parts fit well together. You know, the sex ones. So he asked me if I wanted to go on a double date with his friends. And, oh my God, yes, I do. I'm going to meet the friends, the ones he's known forever, the ones that matter. I'm a little nervous, but shook it off as we arrived at the restaurant. It was fancy, tablecloth, the wine guy. I, of course, am being delightful.
I usually don't shake it off in the
and so
restaurant. I
charming.
wait until I get to the bathroom.
And so charming and funny. How could they not love me? Over the salad course, I knew I had this. I just knew it. They were spellbound. The girl especially was staring. Maybe a little too much. Well, I did look amazing in that dress, so I couldn't blame her, really. As I'm eating my salad, something falls in my lap. This is a regular occurrence. I have the eating skills of a toddler. I discreetly looked to see what this rogue piece of lettuce was. It was smooth. No one saw, except her, the starer. My attempts to woo this perfect guy's friends were shattered as she pointed across the table at me and said, "It's in your hair," she says. Well, frankly, it was a bit more yelly than super bitchy. People heard, others heard. Alas, there was, in fact, a perfect curl of Assaggio cheese in my hair. So I ate it. I never saw those friends of his again.
I respect the move.
I'm pretty proud. I'm pretty impressed, actually.
Yeah, well done.
That was well done. You know what? Honestly, if I had really long hair and there was a piece of food stuck in it, I'm not going to waste it. It's going directly in my mouth.
What type of
I know what that is,
asshole
man. You
doesn't see
washed it.
somebody because they've
With stuff in
eaten
their hair and be
food
like,
out of
hey,
their
you
hair?
dropped something in your hair. Let me help you.
I mean, I've
Let
eaten
me not
stuff
be
out
the
of
shit
I've
bag.
eaten stuff out of other people's hair. I've eaten an entire sheet cake.
This line has been crossed.
Oh my
Well, not somebody I know. It was a stranger.
Oh, okay. Much better. Continue.
Oh my god.
I mean, I've passed out in a sheet cake before. Had sheet cake coma.
Sheet cake is delicious.
You're gonna ruin a friendship because of a piece of Assaggio cheese. Fuck's wrong with people?
Fucking terrible assholes.
You know.
Oh man.
I'm glad I've
Why
got
do
the friends
all of
that
our
I do.
sex stories involve poo and throw up? Why can't we just have sex like normal people? What's wrong with us?
You call me the fucked
that's
up
the problem. We are having sex like normal people. That's the whole.
Jesse,
that's
you
the
have
point.
weird sex all the time. Is this like a common thing?
No, I only had that one poo story. I had a whole thing prepared where the girl was racist. Like,
We'll save it for Bad Dates 3.
We'll
We'll
save
save
it.
it for Bad Dates 3. Because I got another one anyway. All right. Jordan?
What the fuck?
I mean,
I once threw rice at myself on a date. It's been
You
a
threw
rough
rice
go.
on yourself? Were you
All right.
getting married?
No, the fork was in the rice. I was talking and gesturing my hands, and my hands came down,
So-
turning my fork into a catapult,
this,
and my date over.
This has been another episode of This Kind of Music.
Yeah.
You can follow us on Twitter at Music Podcast. I'm at Muse Knuckles. Sarge is at Bastard Prophet. Jesse is at the Jesse Miles. Matt is at an Eclectic Taste, and Maynard is at Maynard, but I don't know how to spell it.
MEYNERHD.
Just put the H wherever you want. It'll show up.
You'll figure it out.
You can follow the show on iTunes, Google Play, Podcast Addict. Jesse masturbates on Sundays to pictures of people eating food.
And Sarge doing lunges.
But I do masturbate every day. It's just Sunday is food day.
Got it.
Yeah. Normal.
Discovered at age 12, haven't missed a day.
This has been our Bad Dates 2 episode, and I don't have anything else to say about this.
Hey,
other than,
it's good to be back. I get to say my line again. You're welcome and we're sorry. No, shut up. It's over. I said the line.
Do we pull the plug now?
Yep.
Sorry, it came in your hair.
No, Jesse has the last word.
We already ended the show. Stop recording.
The button's not working.
That's what I say about the clitoris all the time.
You know the clitoris is a myth, right? Just like the G-spot. I've never been
No,
able
it's
to find
not.
either
Have you
one.
guys ever remember the girl that had a big one? It's scary.